Good morning, ChiroSecure friends. I'm absolutely delighted, as always, to be with you. And first and foremost, I think I just want to give a big thank you to ChiroSecure for always hosting and always having a bright, happy face before we get on our recordings. It's such a beautiful moment that we can do these Facebook Lives with you because it keeps us up to date. What's coming up, when it's coming up, and how it's coming up. Now, as always, I want to thank our sponsors. We have quite a few of them. And they are the reason that these moments can actually take place, along with our adjusted reality sponsors that have helped move a complete conversation change. And we'll talk about that in a moment. I want to start simply with asking you just a very simple question. What if the future of chiropractic is not waiting to be discovered? Because so many people say, well, it's such a secret. I believe it's not a secret at all, but that we're actually still in waiting to build it. I know that sounds odd because we're 132 years in, but here's what I have to say. Every single day, your patients come in, they wake up with a headache, some back pain, perhaps they have poor sleep, a little bit of stress and anxiety that who doesn't have that nowadays? And I think there's still a conversation that is about simply surviving. It's really not about thriving. And yet, despite our extraordinary education and some of our clinical outcomes, millions of people still do not know who we are. In fact, I was on a podcast last week and she said, well, it's just a small minority that actually are being treated by chiropractic. And what is it that stops people from seeing us? It's a profound question. And it's a question that a podcaster had to me. And I kept thinking to myself, we're so big, but yet we're still small. And I want everyone on this podcast, this Facebook Live today, to really think about how do we grow in a strength movement and ensure that everybody can see that we have a great opportunity ahead of us. Now, the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress has a national Find a Doctor directory, and it receives thousands of consumer visits every single month from people actively searching for care. So think about that for a moment. Thousands of individuals are raising their hand and saying they need help. And the question is, will they find you? And that's what today's conversation that I came building out is your practice thriving like you want a patient? And it's not at all through gimmicks. It's actually got to be something that's more substantial, something that's authentic. It has to be through the service and the science, the visibility, and our consistency on how we show up every single day. And, I've been doing these Facebook Lives. I think it's probably going on 5, maybe 6 or 7 years every month. I don't recall a single month in at least the last 3 years that I didn't show up. And it's that consistency that makes it more opportunities for everyone. Because when the future belongs to chiropractors who understand 3 things, and these are my 3 things: visibility creates opportunity, research creates credibility, and our purpose creates sustainability. And I think our purpose is strong, it's right, it's good, it's just. And the research is supporting us all over the map. And now the question is, what about our visibility? How do we create our visibility so that we can have patients thriving, not just surviving? And I think when we use the latest research, it affirms that what many that are not understanding chiropractic have to know about us. As you know, the World Health Organization estimates that musculoskeletal disorders remain among the leading cause of disability worldwide. And clearly, it's no secret low back pain alone affects hundreds of millions of people annually. So their physical activities actually are reduced. And that leads to actually 5 million premature deaths each year. That's what they're estimating. And then there's loneliness and stress and chronic disease that continues to rise. So I start to ask questions. And I think our patients are asking questions. A patient asks, how do I age better? Maybe, how can I perform something better? How do I sleep better? They're lacking sleep badly. And what about my health span? Do I want to live longer if I'm living sicker? That's the question I think that's most important. And those questions lead up to who can guide me? Who? It's a very important question because I believe chiropractic is uniquely positioned to answer that very question. Not because we treat everything, but because we understand something that's increasingly aware of in the population, but not discussed. And it's rare in healthcare. And that's one of the pieces that actually makes health care work. It's actually us. It's a human being that is interconnected with all of the pieces that help the patient understand. I believe in the future, and as we're starting today, that we're really in an economy that really does appreciate respect and is adopting performance into their lifestyle. And we have a monthly roadmap at the foundation, and I used to do it in slideshow presentation, but I recognize something more important. If I can get you thinking about it rather than paying attention to a slide or visually stimulating you, to actually keep you right with me, to focus on what's important, and that is really what we're doing every single day. This month we're focusing on sports and injury prevention and performance. And this is not an accident on why I'm talking to you today about performance, because performance is no longer reserved for elite athletes. We saw the FIFA games, they were fabulous. We saw the energy, the excitement, the passion. We had a whole toolkit out for FIFA, from infographics to statistics to research. And yet, sadly, many of you did not use it or were even aware of it. So, no matter how many PowerPoints I do, I think it comes down to one thing: performance. It's performance in your practice, it's performance for the patient. The mother who's trying to keep up with her children, the executive that actually is lacking energy, the retiree who wants to travel but's not sure if they should because they're not sure they can lift their luggage, or the student who is preparing to go back to school. These are the performance things that I actually want to talk about, because if we can't handle these, then what healthcare provider can? Research continues to demonstrate that the importance of movement, that physical activity we've always talked about, the sleep and the stress and the social connection, is actually determining their long term outcomes. Now, we have studies from Harvard and Stanford and the NIH repeatedly showing that lifestyle factors significantly influence health span and longevity. How healthy am I living and how long am I living? This means that our practice can no longer simply just ask, where does it hurt? Or what can I do to make it better for you? We actually have to be asking more profound questions. And that question has to be, in your health span reality, what do you want to do more of? What is it that you want to achieve for your health, not your sickness? That's the modern practice builder, I think, in today's world we need to discuss. And if you're a brand new graduate and you're listening right now, I'm literally giving you a hug through the Facebook Live. I want to focus on 5 things today that we need to ask ourselves. Number 1, when was the last time you updated your website? Can you be found? That's number 1. And when you do that, why don't you go ahead and look at your Google profile? I think the last thing on that list, if you want to be found, is, have you updated your Find a Doctor directory on the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress? The number 4cp.org, and you go into the membership. You'll click on it and log in. Forgot your password? No worries. If you're part of your state association, you enter your email address and forgot password. Today's the day. Can they find you? We spend years mastering anatomy and physiology, yet sometimes we spend only half a minute considering what our digital door front looks like. Do they want to show up and ring your door? I don't know. That's only up to you. But your online presence should be asking and answering questions that are out there, like, who are you? What techniques do you have? Why should a patient actually trust you? How can they schedule right now, like today? That's the visibility that we want. Visibility is not vanity. Visibility is service to your community. Now, what happens if we go to number 2? You become the teacher. That's exactly what the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress wants for you. You don't have time to build it. Let us build it for you and with you, so you can share with your patients and they will be aware of what you actually do. That's why the roadmap, I used to do the PowerPoints, show you the patient newsletters, the tip sheets, the webinars that are coming up, all of the posters that you could use, but it doesn't matter until you actually put it into use. You could speak at any one of the in community outreach. You could be at Chamber of Commerce, your Rotary Club, Have you been to your church? Maybe there's something that you could do there. The schools need you desperately. If you offer just a once a quarter class on optimizing your performance or being vital at school, and you use your information from the foundation, like what's technic and how can it create a lack of cognitive awareness, athletic organizations that need you badly as well, that's the thing that I want. Patients don't buy chiropractic, they buy hope. They buy understanding. They actually buy confidence in the person standing right in front of them, and that's you. Because every presentation you make may change a life. Don't underestimate it. So, number 1 was focus and visibility. Number 2, you become a teacher. Number 3, you have to build a team culture. And I've seen this over and over again. I've been to hundreds of seminars. And you know what I find that's really interesting is when I have a CA conversation, I see their eyes light up and it sparkles because they finally have help. They have someone who can help them do their social media, someone who can help them understand chiropractic better. The roadmap was designed to highlight the importance of chiropractic with your assistant. This is a team building development. Research from organizational psychological magazines demonstrate really that high performing organizations are built upon physiological and psychological safety, the communication, and the shared purpose. And I love that part because your chiropractic assistant is not simply just answering your phone and not just simply taking money from the patient. They're actually there with you. They're creating the very first impression, they're building the trust, and they're reinforcing recommendations. That supports you. It supports you in your retention, and it's an extension of what you are, your mission. And I think a great CA doesn't work in your practice. They actually are the ambassador for your practice. And that's why I think you should invest in them. And you know, the best way to invest in them is make sure that you have a foundation for chiropractic progress membership. Yes, because when they dive in, oh my, the doors open up. The rainbow starts to come out because now they have a whole list of content they can use anywhere, anytime. And we're training them. There's a webinar for them every month. That's celebrating them. Once you celebrate your team, it comes back in double return on investment because patients actually may forget what you said, but they will never forget how the CA made them feel. And remember, that's a very important part of your practice. And number 4, you have to think like a community leader. The greatest practices in chiropractic are rarely a secret. Reality check. They're visible. They're visible in their communities, their little league teams. They speak at high schools. And I have so much information for you to go to a high school. Let's build our profession. Let's build your practice. You can volunteer anywhere. You could serve on a board. I want you to think about today as just a refresher. I am going through hygiene for your chiropractic practice. That's what today's focus is really about because the last piece I think is really one of the most important parts. Are you practicing whole being? Now, for years, healthcare has been obsessed with chronic disease. And that's why we ended up with the opiate problem. It was obsessed with pain. Now, increasingly, patients are now becoming interested in actually their well being. And this is where I think our profession shines because the research is coming out and it's clear. Exercise improves immune function, sleep impacts your cognition, social connections predict longevity, chronic stress contributes to disease, and purpose actually improves everything in your life, including your resilience. So, whole being is the integration. It's the integration of mind, body, purpose, and the spirit of why they're involved in their communities. And here's what I've come to appreciate the word whole being. It hit me on the weekend because it's actually both a noun and a verb. As a noun, it presents our fullest expression, but as a verb, that's really the key because it's actually being active. It reflects that health is not a static destination, but an ongoing process. We are continually becoming, like being. I am, therefore, When you say I am, you're actually being. And that's the movement that whole being brings. Whole being acknowledges both who we are as a whole entity, but also who we're striving to become. These are action words and they need you. The conversations can resonate deeply with patients. So, what's the opportunity ahead? Friends, here's where we are. We're practicing and we're working hard, but we have to be extraordinary with our time. Right now, we're going to be facing, without our choice, artificial intelligence. It will reshape healthcare, without a doubt. Longevity science is accelerating. In fact, trillions of dollars are being emptied into that bucket right now as we speak. Wearable technology is exploding around the world. Patients have more information than ever before. And yet, despite all this technology, humanity continues to crave something very profound. It's where we were 132 years ago. It's connection. I don't think any algorithm can replace a caring doctor. There's no app that can replace human touch. There's no wearable that can actually replace compassion. That's why chiropractic should remain, is one of the most beautiful things because it's so beautifully human. And I believe that is our competitive advantage. But are we using it? Are we using it wisely? So I have a call to action for you today. No imagery, no fast talk, no selling here, just a call to action for you. Can you imagine what would happen if every chiropractor committed to just one community presentation every month? The whole 80,000 of us. One social media post every week. If our chiropractors had a staff training session every month to engage them in what the foundation is doing, we would be a game changer. One intentional conversation every day about a patient's goals, not their symptoms. What are your goals? Who are you becoming? That's whole being. These are small actions. They have to be repeated consistently because I told you I did not miss a Facebook Live with ChiroSecure for a very long time because I love being with this profession every day, producing extraordinary results with you. And that roadmap, the July performance roadmap, it's not a checklist. It's a blueprint. It's something that's relevant for your practice. It's relevant to create growth, and that's what we desperately need. And speaking of growth, as I wrap up today and I think about where we are, I want to conclude with something very important. It's very important and very close to my heart. It started as a book. The book was about you. It was about why see a chiropractor, adjusted reality. But it has become something so much bigger. Adjusted reality has become a movement. It is built around one idea, and that is that humanity deserves to live aligned. Alignment is key, and we adjust that alignment through lifestyle and the musculoskeletal system that we're aware and take care of. I am really humbled to share that this little book right here, this little book has now won an International Book Award winner, an Independent Press Award winner, a National Indies Excellence finalist. 5 stars on the book review, which 5 stars on anything, well, you know what that's like in today's world. It's not easy. Forbes book has noted us as one of their successful campaigns to date. Now, we're selling the books, but it's not about the books. It actually placed us in the top 10% of the 2.4 million book titles that were released this year. Can you imagine that? That means people are thirsty, hungry. They're craving to find you. The book is not about me, it's about you. It's about why see a chiropractor. The selection was one of 5 Forbes authors, and this is the first time I have said this ever in a announcement. We got selected, we, the profession, in Adjusted Reality for a special United Kingdom paperback release this October. We're going global, full on international. Help the profession participate today. That book, when you buy one, moves us up on a platform. It's the best marketing platform ever. It's got 1 billion people there. You buy one book and you give it to someone. You give it to your pastor, you give it to a teacher at school, you give it to a high school student. There's a mother right now who needs adjusted reality in her hands so she can continue the movement. They'll read, they'll learn, and your practice will grow. But remember, the adjusted reality is not just a book, it's also a podcast. And the adjusted reality book comes with an entire impact toolkit that you can download. Every chapter, infographics, tip sheets, posters. The adjusted reality podcast is now in over 118 countries, ranked among the 25% of podcasts globally. And we've had remarkable guests from Deepak Chopra, Bruce Lipton, Anna Lebke, Elaine Lelaine, Jack's wife, Mark Siegel, Marshall Ulrich, which is an amazing aging adult who's still doing ultra marathons. And season 12 is just about to begin with Heidi Horvick kicking it off. It's awesome. It's epic. It's fun. And if you can get your patients to start listening to chiropractic every day in a podcast, how cool would that be? We have the moment. It's ahead of us. And it's one of the things that I think in closing, I want to give to you. The future of chiropractic will not be determined simply by legislation. It will not be determined simply by technology. And it will not be determined by another profession for us because it will be determined by us, by the conversations that we have, the communities that we serve, by the patients who actually live and talk about what we do and how we show up in their life. The foundation is trying to be in everyday conversations, from the bed they lay in to their sleep hygiene to the food they're putting in their mouth. We're trying to be part of their world every day so that when it's time to adjust, they know who to come to. Whether it's a lifestyle adjustment or a physical adjustment, we're there for them. Every patient carries a possibility, and you're the chiropractor in the room who has the capacity to leave the world better than they found it. So let us practice something that matters and build our communities so that they thrive. And we want to build a profession worthy of the next 132 years. And that is why together we can actually create an adjusted reality. It's a reality for the patient. It's patient centered, and it is about health span. So, if you have not done it today, today's the day. Of those top 5 things, I know there's one thing that you could look at. I want you to participate with the foundation. Today's the day. The number 4cp.org/package. This is not about membership. This is about participation. And that, my friends, is what changes the world, one adjustment at a time. Look forward to joining you again in August. Lots going on, and appreciate you joining me today. Thank you.